You're watching Mirror 7 News. Stay informed, stay ahead for more news.
Dame Jane Goodall's life was more than just the story of a scientist. It was the story of a woman who redefined our understanding of what it means to be human by showing us what it means to be part of nature. Her recent passing at the age of 91 has left the scientific world and beyond, reflecting on just how much she gave and how much she asked of us in return. Jane Goodall was not trained in the traditional academic sense. In fact, when she first arrived in Tanzania in 1960 to study chimpanzees, she did so under the mentorship of famed paleoanthropologist Louis Leakey, who chose her precisely because she was unshaped by scientific convention. What she brought instead was patience, sharp observation, and a willingness to see animals not as specimens, but as individuals. This approach was seen as radical at the time, yet it led to some of the most important discoveries in primatology. One of her earliest and most famous observations was of a chimp named David Greybeard. She watched him strip leaves from a twig and use it to fish termites from their mound, evidence of tool use. Until then, tool-making had been considered a defining characteristic of humans. Leakey's telegram in response summed up the magnitude of that moment. Now we must redefine tool, redefine man, or accept chimpanzees as humans. Her findings went further, showing that chimpanzees were capable of complex emotions, social bonds, and even conflict. Yet while her discoveries changed science forever, Jane faced skepticism and sexism. Her habit of naming the chimpanzees, of referring to them as friends rather than numbered subjects, drew criticism. But her calm persistence won out. Over the decades, what had been dismissed as sentimentality became recognized as groundbreaking insight. Even as she built her scientific reputation, Jane Goodall gave up the quiet fieldwork she loved to become a voice for conservation. She carried her message across the globe, sometimes speaking up to 250 days a year. Her toy monkey, Mr. H, often traveled with her, a light-hearted reminder of her lifelong sense of wonder. Well into her 90s, she continued urging action against climate change, biodiversity loss, and habitat destruction. We still have a window, she often said, but it's closing. Her passing has been described as a shock, even though she had lived a long and full life. Scientists, conservationists, and admirers alike are grieving not only the loss of a person, but the presence she carried. A presence that reminded the world that animals are not separate from us, but part of us. Yet Jane herself would not have wanted us to dwell on sadness. As one colleague put it, she would have told us to get to work. Her last message was simple but powerful. Do not give up. Protecting nature, fighting for the survival of chimpanzees and countless other species, is now left to us. She carried the mission as far as she could. The rest, she believed, must be carried forward by all who were inspired by her vision of hope. Stay subscribed for more videos.